Fortnite has been around for over 5 years now, and in that span of time, they've added hundreds of items to the game. Some of those items are a little more lackluster than others. So today, we're going to be going over the most forgotten about items in the history of Fortnite. Number 1, the Boombox. The Boombox was a throwable item that once deployed would do 200 continuous damage to all structures in a 2-tile radius. This thing would make it impossible to build, and you could destroy it, but it had 400 HP. And when it first came out, it would last an entire 18 seconds. This is probably one of the most hated items in the history of Fortnite. Number 2, the Scoped Revolver. The Scoped Revolver, just like the Boombox, was released in Chapter 1, Season 7, and was only available in epic and legendary variants. And honestly, I don't really have much to say about this item except it was pretty bad. It had one of the worst hipfire accuracies of any weapon, and while it was accurate while using the scope, it only did 75 headshot damage. So actually trying to eliminate anyone with this item was pretty much impossible. Number 3, bottle rockets. Honestly, I totally forgot these things existed until I started doing research for this video. These things were pretty much useless. They barely did any damage. They were super hard to hit your opponents with. And actually, while I was researching for this video, I found a clip of Laser Beam dying to an opponent because of his own bottle rockets destroying his builds while he was in the middle of a fight. So yeah, these things are pretty much trash. Number 4, Glider ReDeploy. And no, I'm not talking about the item Glider ReDeploy that you can pick up in game, but actually in Chapter 1 Season 6, Epic put out an update that gave everyone the ability to infinitely redeploy their gliders. And back then, mobility wasn't really a huge part of the game, so this was a pretty big deal. Ironically enough, we've seen Epic remove it in the very next update, only to re-enable it in the update right after that, and then permanently delete it at the beginning of Season 7, and then shortly after release the Glider ReDeploy item that we all know today. Number 5, the Eye of the Storm Tracker. This was an item that was put in the game in an update in Chapter 1, Season 4, and it only existed in the game for about 30 minutes. It wasn't in any of the patch notes, so it's pretty safe to say that Epic accidentally put it in the game, and then once they realized it was in there, they removed it. The way that this item worked was you could open your map and you could see where the next storm circle was going to be. So it's basically the Storm Tracker Sniper minus the actual sniper. And I think it's safe to say that this was one of the only items that Epic quickly removed from the game that wasn't super OP. Number 6, the OG Burst Assault Rifle. Not only the OGs have played with this item. And fun little fact, the Burst Assault Rifle that we all know today was actually originally put in the game to only be the epic and legendary version of this Burst Assault Rifle, the same way the Scar is the epic and legendary version of the M16. And I think the reason that we haven't seen the return of this item is because, well, it sucked. The new Burst Assault Rifle really just is better. And back in the day when I had the choice, I don't ever remember picking up the Burst Assault Rifle over the M16. It really just was the worst assault rifle choice at the time. Number 7, the Burst SMG. This thing was only around for seasons 9 and 10 back in Chapter 1, and as far as I remember, pretty much everyone hated it. Which is why I was super surprised to find out this thing actually has the highest damage out of all SMGs, even higher than most assault rifles in the game. But even with that high damage, this thing just never felt like it was super accurate, and the burst feature on an SMG is just never going to outdo one that's fully automatic. Number 8, the Chiller Grenade. This thing was basically the Chiller Trap, but in the form of a grenade. So you'd throw it at people, their feet would turn to ice, and they'd start sliding all over the place. Sometimes you'd actually find a way to make these things useful in a situation, but for the most part, I just remember these things being the source of a lot of frustration. Number 9, the OG Revolver. Now, this thing was notorious for being the worst weapon in the game, and at the same time, the only weapon you could ever find. But I will say there was plenty of times I found myself in some rough early game situations, and that OG Revolver saved my butt. The OG Revolver has officially been completely removed from the game. I'm pretty sure even in creative, it's been replaced with all the newer updated models. So rest in peace to the OG Revolver. Number 10, the Zapatron. If you haven't heard of the Zapatron by now, you've probably been living under a rock. This thing has been beaten to death on YouTube. This is by far the most legendary item on this list, with actually only one clip of it ever existing. Way back in the day, this thing existed in the game for less than a day when Epic removed it because they said it was too powerful for the Battle Royale version of Fortnite. Those are the most forgotten items in Fortnite history. If you guys have enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more Fortnite content, and I will catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.